Welcome. It's been a crazy week, hasn't it? What a fun time to have my first day to come into. So if any of you don't know me, my name is Anna Ryan and I am your new team leader. Over the last few days, and we're going to go over a lot of things, so I'm just going to jump right in. And let's start with our early bird drawing. I think you want to go ahead and draw for me? All the early birds are in the building. Okay, Tracy, you should.
He's thrown away.
She's thrown away afterwards, he says.
Danny Moss.
Danny Moss. Danny Moss. Is he not in the room?
No. He's an option from
He's in the hallway? I'll tell you, I know Danny and Matt, as well as many of us have been out in the community doing so many things for our own neighbors and friends and clients and agents. So as we get into the day, we'll talk about some of that, but we'll see whether or not he gets the the prize. Let's kind of dive in a little bit to what's going on in the community, your clients, your families. Let's do a prayer request, so some kind of burning desire you have for the prayer this morning. I know there's so much out there, and Brian Richardson will give the prayer for us, has offered to give the prayer for us this morning. Does anyone want to be added to the prayer? Gail?
Barbara Sam's, her mother, is going back to Anthony Anderson today just for follow-up and making sure that she continues her progress.
Thank you. And I know she had some displaced family as well that she had taken in. Carrie?
Yeah, mine is outside of this office, but I have a whole lot of friends in the energy corridor in that little zone that's flooded today and evacuated, and I'd like to have those people.
Prayers to the displaced families and friends of yours. Melinda?
Edie Entemeyer's health is continuing to decline, and now both our grandchildren that have the little baby that's disformed, house flooded, and it's a rental, and we desperately need a place. Everything I've tried to find is, of course, already rented, around $13.50 if anybody has a pocket listing.
And I think we're going to be praying for a lot of displaced people that are searching for homes and probably in a little bit of a panic mode right now, right?
Whether really they need to.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Around Conroe,
How about praying for the, maybe steer the new hurricane away from
Let's pray for
Florida?
that hurricane to not devastate us in Florida. That's right. And I know that as we talk about relief efforts here, we're going to be worried about our family that's over there too. So it's a very good point.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. I know there's a lot that are in our own personal hearts, and Brian, if you'll just take that away.
Absolutely. Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today bent knee, but with a spirit of gratitude and helpfulness, and that you please guide us to where we can be the blessing for others, because the things that we have experienced in the last week and a half are absolutely overwhelming. We know that the enemy is always surrounding us, and that the only way he can attack us is our morale. The rest of the things that we can replace, let us help. Let us be guided by your hand, and watch over those that are our leaders and guide them. And you know the thoughts spoken and unspoken of all the prayer requests in the room and the needs that are in this room, that we are all hurting, and that you fill those needs, and that we all see the pinprick of light in the distance, and we go towards that as we are surrounded by darkness. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brian. So let's hear, go ahead and hear from, our sponsors of the office, and is Texas Homeland. And Matt, you want to come?
Sure.
Hear a little bit from our partners.
Nothing about title today. Just wanted to kind of, they are in desperate need of volunteers down at the command center for the Keller Williams. We went down there on Sunday, and the one thing that struck me about that was there were signs everywhere saying action shots only on the wall. They'd actually printed up signs that said action shots only. And that kind of was like bothering me all day as we were there, and I said, you know what? I understand why they put those up there. They want people working and they don't want this to be a selfie opportunity. You know, because what does I mean, it seems kind of self-serving. Don't forget about me, I'm still here, you know, kind of moment. You know, that's not what they wanted. They wanted the people engaged. And so that's what I would just leave you with today is take the opportunity to serve in any way, in any capacity you can. So there's a lot of people that are, like I said, are hurting right now. So.
Thank you.
Not over yet.
It's not even begun to be over. Do we have Bill Morgan? Hi.
Good morning. So I wanted to tell you guys about our 203H program. It's a disaster victim program. We have flyers up on the wall outside of our office, and I sent out an email too. But basically, it's an FHA program. It's really cool because we're able to get those victims of the disaster into a new home without counting their current mortgage against them. And that is something, once the repairs are done, we get them into a new home, they can keep their current home, they can sell it, they can rent it, it really doesn't matter. So pretty cool program. There are some stipulations, 620 credit score, max DTI of 45%. But we have the details outside of our door, and of course you can always call or email us with questions.
That's great.
Good morning. So, Ruth thought maybe I could visit a minute about how the claims process and stuff works with insurance and so forth, and whether we have the ability to write insurance with hurricanes coming down on us or even Florida and so forth. And what I do is invite you to the office up front. Sit down with me and I'll try to do the best I can. If I don't know, I'll call somebody that does. So, they call it a moratorium. Can't write insurance. So when this thing was really bad, they shut it off, and it was 5 or 6 days after that we now have the ability to write insurance. Flood insurance never gets shut off because it's a 30-day wait to get it in force anyways. If you want to buy it today for a closing, you can, but if you want to buy it because you've got your own home, it's a 30-day wait. So they never did shut us down on the ability to write flood insurance.
We should let the people in Florida know.
Quickly.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes,
so,
everybody.
Mark, do you do flood insurance for condos too? Yeah, everything. It didn't flood, they've never flooded, but it's getting closer.
Yep.
I have a question. I have 2 wood clients that were renting a home. So they had renter's insurance, but they did not have flood insurance. Our renter, let's say for instance, a landlord doesn't have flood insurance. Are renters somehow able to get flood insurance since they're not covered by their landlord?
Yeah, they can. Typically, the FEMA covers the structure and contents. And in that situation, they would just buy a policy for just the contents. So they can buy it.
Yeah.
Typically, people don't.
Right.
Like we have a place in Lumberton right now that got flooded for up to here. We had $5,000 worth of contents in there. It's gone. Didn't cover it.
Right. So in the future, for somebody, especially our higher end clients that might have a lot of very high-end type insides, or even somebody that just has any type of furniture,
Well,
if they
and
want that flooding coverage.
so many people haven't thought of. Ruth?
Okay, so we have Irma and Jose lined up, south of Florida, the hurricanes. So if Irma enters the Texas Gulf, even at the Florida level, are we done with insurance again for a while?
Well, those people that don't own it right now are gonna have to wait 30 days. It's gonna be too late.
Well, what if they go ahead and get it bound? What if they've got a closing? What if we have closings between today and when it hits the
Closing it
Gulf?
will work.
Okay, so if they get their insurance now, right? But you can't put it off, because if it hits the Gulf, we're done.
Yep.
Okay,
Give me the liberty just for a second. I mean, you guys are gonna probably be selling houses to people for the rest of your life, and some of you will anyway. Would you guys mind having an expert on flood insurance come in? Sure.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Okay. Maybe you can help me line that up?
Yes, we have
That's
to
a
get
great
that.
idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Better hurry.
We have a special guest speaker today. And you know, guys, we almost didn't want to do a speaker today because we have so much to talk about within the community and within our agents. And then with what his message is, we really talked about it and said this actually is going to be very good timing on this, this message about helping our community within. So I'd like to introduce you to Brett Roloff.
I don't know where you guys got this picture from, but yeah, well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you having me out here today. I'm not normally a public speaker, but believe it or not, lately I've been getting asked more and more to go and speak to different businesses as well as networking groups and such, because I have a different philosophy on the way I do things. And a lot of you guys have the same type of philosophy, but you might not be executing it in the proper fashion, or you might not be thinking about it as you're doing it and going out and speaking with people. A little bit about me is I've been on my own since I was 14 years old. I got in the grocery industry really early when I was about 15 and a half, and worked my way up the ranks really, really fast. By the time I was 17, I was the youngest grocery manager in alphabet history. Too young to actually order alcohol and tobacco, which upset others in the building because I had to actually have other people order it for me, and I was telling them what to order, which some of them didn't like. So, but from there I went on and stayed in the grocery industry, and I worked for several different grocery chains, including Albertsons, Whole Foods, which back then actually started out as Wild Oats, and I got into a regional spot there and actually learned quite a bit. But I hit a point where I figured, you know, I want to become much more than this, and I want to be out in the world a little bit more. I don't always want to work for a large company. I'm in Costco. But you know what I did is I put myself through college. And while I was working and while I was going to college, I actually worked for a company called Price Club, which is now Costco. So when I finished college, I was given an opportunity to go work for a large glass blowing operation. And that's really what began to open my eyes to the world and how important business relationships were in the world. Because with this company, they brought me on as the vice president. My friends owned the company, but they were more the partying type and weren't really into running the company so much. So that's where I came in. And they gave me an opportunity to fly all over the world. I went to Italy, Germany, throughout Europe, Japan, and I got a chance to learn how to market glass and glass blowing and glass art. And from there I opened my own galleries and distribution hub in Hawaii as well as in California. And throughout my lifetime I owned 11 businesses, all around my one brand in the glass world. But at that same time I was actually a single father. And I sold all my businesses to spend time with my son. At that time I was in Hawaii. And sold all my businesses to spend time and raise my son. And I was retired for a little while. But in that retirement I got really poor and kind of lonely and whatnot. We're kind of in a shed. I taught my son how to blow a glass of tin. He's 15 now. And that's when I came back on board with Costco. And I used all those skills I learned from traveling the world, because when I was traveling the world, I didn't know anybody. I was just going into all these different countries and meeting people and trying to learn from them as much as possible. Luckily enough, in Germany, I did have a translator and someone that went around with me and introduced me to a lot of people. But for the most part, a lot of the other countries I didn't. I was just kind of going for it. So coming back in with Costco, and after having been on my own for such a long time working for myself, I had a hard time conforming to such regulation and rules that Costco has. They're very in the box, and I'm very outside the box. And so that's when I started kind of pushing that I want to really do my own thing. They hired me on as a business representative. And it was so structured that it was driving me crazy. So I pushed and pushed and pushed, and I was in Knoxville, Tennessee at this time, opening a new warehouse, and that general manager, after pushing and pushing them, finally said, okay, I'm going to let you kind of do your thing, but we're going to kind of watch you and see what you do. And so I went off on my own, and my thing wasn't to push Costco so much, but to push the growth of relationships. And this really, how it ties into you guys is that real estate's all about relationships as well, and building those relationships. So being with Costco, I didn't really push the relationships. I would go up to people and I'd want to learn more about them and who they were, and kind of build a network around that person. And if I was able to help them with what they were doing, then I would. I'd introduce them to someone else I know, or bring them into a different meeting I was going into. And that's how it kind of started evolving. And so after being at that warehouse for about a year, they were kind of wondering how I was building some of these relationships with huge companies. I'd have large companies that they were trying to go after, calling for me and wanting to set up meetings with me. And the same thing's starting to happen right here in the Woodlands. I've only been here for 2 years now. So they're surprised at some of the people have been calling in and asking for meetings, asking me to come down and speak, getting me involved in the events that they're doing. But it's all been through a series of relationships. And what's really important in the community like this, especially after all the hardships we've faced right now with Harvey and everything going on right now, those relationships that you build and that you have mean so much. And so, going into some of these networking things I do, a lot of people ask me, about referrals, and I'm sure you guys get that a lot as well, because a lot of your business is referral based. But you're more likely to get a lot of those referrals if you're building real relationships with people. You don't want to give out your information to people that may make you look bad, or betray your trust with this other person that you led them to. So if I was to give someone else's information to another business, this executive over there, and they're a total ding dong, and they call him up, and he's calling me back saying, why did you have that person call me? And that looks negatively on you. So you want to hold your contacts and your relationships close to you, and you want to expand on those. But make sure you're doing it with the right people. So what that really means is getting to know them. Same with your clients. If you want those clients to refer you to other people, you need to get to know them. You can't go up to them and just give them your business card and throw all your information at them right away. Ask them about them a little bit. Get a little more personable with them. Learn a little bit about them, and in turn, they're actually going to want to learn more about you, and that's where the real magic happens, and that's where the business really starts happening. It's after they realize, hey, this person really cares who I am, they want to know about me and what's really going on with me, they actually want to start learning about you as well, and that's where they want to start sending business your way. So, the other thing to think about when you're out building these relationships is they look and analyze everything you do, your body language, your eye contact, how you shake their hand, how you presented yourself, the first things that you said to them when you stepped up to them. They think about those things and they analyze all of it. So if you're out with a bunch of people and you're in the corner with your arms crossed, or you're not looking at them, or you're just kind of facing away, you're unapproachable. If you look at them and you approach them and you get into a certain range which is comfortable for both of you, they're going to want to learn more about you. And they're going to want to approach you if you're actually making yourself open to be approachable. Eye contact, how you speak to them, and what you say really means everything for those first impressions. That goes, I'm sure, in the real estate world as well as the business world. So Costco's actually given me a lot of leeway now. They kind of let me do my own thing and help train some of the other people coming in. And they've allowed me to do my own networking event that I do at Costco, as well as market the way I want to market. And the way I market isn't going out there and pushing Costco, Costco, Costco. It's me going out to businesses and learning about those businesses, what their needs are, meeting their employees, meeting their staff, helping them if I'm able to help them. And usually it comes back in my favor. Right now I'm the top ranked business representative in the Southwest region. And I've only been here for 2 years at the store. I currently have businesses and executives calling that want to meet with me and speak to me that I never imagined would be reaching out to me. It's usually because I went and met with someone else, and I'd sit down and have a meeting with them, and we talk for usually what's set to be an hour. A lot of times it ends up being 2 or 3 hours. And then they start referring me off to other people and saying, hey, you should really meet this person. You should really meet this person. And it's really not about you should meet Costco and what Costco can do for you. Usually they want that person to meet me. We see how we're able to work together because everything's really about being mutually beneficial. You want all your relationships to be mutually beneficial. So if you're going out there and you're trying to meet people or meet new clients and you're trying to cram your information down their throat as quick as you can and handing over your business card, you're going to be less likely to get other referrals from them. You might get their business right away, but they're going to be thinking of, hey, that person really want to meet me, they're a little overeager, they're trying to cram their business down my throat. Or if you go up and you actually start talking to people and learning about who that person is, don't give them your business card right away. Talk to them for a second first. Meet the person. See who they are. What are they into? What do they need? What are they really looking for? How can you help them? Once you find out these things, then you give them your business card. Don't you hate when you're standing somewhere and you're looking at someone and someone's actually throwing their business card at you and rambling off as fast as possible? It's annoying. It's a horrible way to meet people. It's a horrible way to network. And so when a lot of people talk about networking, I don't really think of it as networking. I think of it more as building relationships. So when people go out there and say, hey, I'm going to go to this networking event, I'm going to join a networking group. Networking is really just the first step of the whole relationship. Where it all really takes place, where the magic happens, where the business happens, where the money comes into play, is all in the follow-through. Following up with them, emailing them, maybe inviting them out to lunch or sitting down with them for a little bit and getting to know about them. And that's where everything really comes into play. So, being approachable is really what it's about. Getting to know who you're wanting to meet, whether it's someone on the other side of the room, someone you're trying to sell a house to, another business. That's what it's about. It's not about trying to jam your information down their throat. Now, when I do or go to networking events, yes, I go there usually with the intent of trying to meet certain people, and I don't know how realtors really do that. How do you guys meet your clients, or do they always come to you guys?
They call me up, yeah.
A lot of it's about referral based, right? Okay, so it doesn't matter where you're at. People are watching your every move, like I said. So, for example, I was in a meeting, and this guy was an executive with a big company in the area, and we were having lunch, and he was so rude to the waiter. To me, that was a big turnoff. And I said to myself, if he treats the waiter like that, how is he treating everybody else? Like I said, people watch your interactions all the time, everywhere you go. And you never know where your next client's going to be. It could be at the restaurant. It could have been that waiter. You don't know. And it was interesting because after we had that meeting, that guy actually ended up calling me back up and wanted to talk business, which is fine. But I had a whole different outlook on that person and who they were. I treat everyone the same, whether they are the busboy, cab driver, executive, the cashier in the checkout line. Treat everyone the same with that respect. You never know where your business is going to come from, and they're all human too, trying to work up the ranks just like all of us do. So really, really be aware of how you treat everyone. And when you do treat someone a certain way, who's watching you? Because everyone's taking note. That caught my attention. I've seen it happen more than once. And especially when you're dealing with a lot of executives in big companies. A lot of it goes to their head really quick. But there are many that are very humble as well. And those are the ones who I love to do business with. And the interesting thing is, because of how laid back I tend to be, that is where a lot of my business comes from. I don't need to rush anyone into anything. I'm in no hurry about it. You know, so for example, I threw my first networking event at Costco. The general manager right afterward was like, "You didn't mention Costco. You didn't sell memberships. You didn't." I go, "Just sit back and watch. Just let it happen." You know, we figured about 25% of the people that showed up to the networking event that were not members signed up on their own without being asked. On top of that, we got a couple of our biggest clients out of that event by just not pushing it, by inviting them in to have a good time. You know, here's some free food, some snacks, you know, can we introduce you to anyone else in the room? That's really what it's all about. So when I network, I go with the purpose of building relationships. It doesn't matter who it's with. Someone wants to have a meeting with me, whether it's the smallest company or the biggest company, I always try to accommodate that. Anyone have any questions about anything I'm saying here? Mr. Richardson?
Do you have a shebang-a-bang going on around October-ish time? Can you tell us about that?
I do have a shebang. October 12th is the third networking event I've put on at this Costco. It is quite a shebang-a-bang. It's grown into it. Like I said, this is the third one. We have Mattress Mac is one of our key speakers at this one coming up. We have Simon Securo of Quadvest as one of our speakers, and Steve Scott, the Houston Business Coach. We're expecting 300 to 350 businesses out there to show up for this one. Even though it's Costco casual, it's going to be a red carpet affair. We haven't really started pushing the advertising for it yet. We're going to 2 weeks ago, but this little thing called Harvey kind of came in, and so we mellowed out on it for a little bit. So in the next week or so, you'll see some social media commercials go out there, one with Mattress Mac. We have Monette Smith with PR Luxury Media. She is our MC for the night. So we have a lot of great players in this thing, and it didn't start out that way. The first one I did, they gave me about 3 weeks to plan for and gave me the Thanksgiving weekend, the weekend before Thanksgiving to do it. And believe it or not, we had a little over 80 different businesses show up to that one. The second one, we had 190 show up to. And this third one, they gave me free reign on, and we're expecting well over 300. And so everyone is welcome. You do not have to RSVP, which they thought I was nuts for doing, but it's just a lot more work. So everyone's welcome to come out, have a great time. It's October 12th. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a free event at Costco. And you are allowed to invite other businesses or friends and bring them with you as well. So, any other questions? Concerns? All right, well, thank you for having me. And, you know, if anyone ever wants to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at Costco. Ask for Brett. Love to talk to you guys. Thank you for having me.
So guys, what does anybody think about an aha from what he said that would relate back to our businesses right now and our family and our community? When we talk about relationships, and right now what's in our heart, we've been in a little bit of panic mode, and now we're starting to regroup. We know our business is going to go back to usual, we hope. And yet as you're reaching out to your clients, and think about your business-to-business relationships too. I mean, did anybody on 105 see the furniture out on the sidewalk from the resale stores? You know, we're gonna see so many of everybody's been helping someone else, and then when will we start to help and rebuild the community? So I know that you guys may have some limiting beliefs right now. I've heard them from some of you. I don't wanna be the realtor that's calling up and saying, did you have any effect and do you need to list your house? You know, that's not who we are. And yet, think about your business to businesses. As you reach out to your clients, they need help right now. They need advice. They have questions surrounding their own real estate, their own flood insurance, all of that. So, I don't know if you guys got any aha out of his talk about, it's not about the referrals, right, but it's about the relationship building, which is always true for us. And yet, think about some of that right now that maybe you didn't yet consider a business owner that you know, or your friends and family, a business owner they or know or are close to. Okay, so let's get back on that. Now let's go to the KW Cares side of things. I think above all, we've got a community of our own realtors within each other. I know so many of you have been out in the community here, in your neighborhoods, at your clients' houses and family houses, and yet KW Cares is mobilizing a $20 million relief effort. For who? For our Keller Williams agents that have been affected. So I'm going to be going down to the warehouse today. I know several of you have already gone down. And if you haven't gone over to the website to look at it, I think it's amazing. There's quite a bit of information on the kwrelief.org. And if you do want to do donations, I know that the gift cards and donations, they're just hearing, and especially as we think about turning our attention, if we can, even to Florida, it's that. And then also, it's the gift of your time. I know we're going to be crazy busy. We're very worried locally, and yet a day or two down there to help a Keller Williams agent who's in need can be a blessing to you personally. I just want you guys to think about it as we talk about it. KW Cares, I didn't know this. In fact, I want to tell you guys a story. Whenever ICE happened and I was an agent, I hadn't really thought about KW Cares before that. We were a smaller company. I was a single agent. I didn't have a whole lot of money. I was kind of going to that next commission. I had fears surrounding the storm. And I saw what KW Cares did for some specific colleagues of mine. And you know, that storm didn't really hit us that hard here. A tree had fell on their car. And I remember some different stories, and you guys may remember them. And after that day, I from then on bought into KW Cares, and I thought, oh my gosh. And every time that commission and green sheet thing would happen, I personally said yes to the little bit that's going to go, because I knew that it was real and that people I knew had actually been assisted. We're going to see a lot of that happening right now. I had seen that we had not only our own parents and children, surrounding family members, if you have those needs. Somebody said grandchildren, please get that information to us. And if you can give some time down to the warehouse, they need volunteers. Keller Williams Associates responding to emergency situations. That is Keller Williams Cares. That is what we believe in. We're going to help our own, and there's a lot of us out there that need help. And we're seeing agents coming in from all over the country, and we feel like we've got a lot just around here. We have some agents in our own office that have been affected, and then down south, just especially for these next few days, we will do business as usual. We're God family business, and let's see if you can, out of your heart, help. Here's a couple of pictures of, so I think there's a few of us that went down. This is Allison. Allison, let me hear a little bit about your experience down there. I also went down on the first Friday. You want to just tell us?
Yeah, I will. And actually, Brittany is my brand new assistant, so she'll get up as well, because that's Brittany in the middle. So just to let y'all know, Brittany had been here with me just over 1 week.
Yeah. Lovely weekend.
Yeah. So 1 week, and Brittany came with me, and we spent probably about 10 hours or so, something like that. There on, I guess it was Friday. I've lost track of my days, like many of us have right now.
Know what day it is.
Yeah. And so we did take out, yes, we did a selfie. I never do those, but it was Mary Tennant, right? So 13 years being a Keller Williams realtor, I never met Mary Tennant. She's here 1 week and she gets to meet Mary Tennant. So, but it was awesome, incredible. So Brittany and I, actually Brittany was right on the other side of that little wall to the right. After we worked trash for a few hours, it was not a pretty job. But we made sure that everything was picked up so that whenever they were bringing in the dollies and things like that, that nothing caught the wheels and everything was a really smooth process and nothing got in the way. There were a lot of people that really need to stay hydrated, because people, including ourselves, you get so involved in everything that you would realize very quickly that you were starting to sway a little bit, because we were first day out there and we were just trying to get things organized and in one spot to make room for the 3 trucks that came in from Keller-Williams Cares. So that was very exciting. But I'll let Brittany tell you what she did, because once we had trash under control, then Brittany moved to, what was it?
Yeah, I managed diapers. That was great. I was a one-woman department managing all of the diapers. We try to get things really, really organized. So we have an assembly line basically of people who go from the trucks, running different things to different departments, and getting everybody in the right place. But overall, I mean, we started out that morning with tons of representation. So then everywhere we had someone who dropped from Atlanta. We had Austinites, like half of Austin. KW was down there, and that was amazing. And then we named them only Conroe there, but there was a good Woodlands representation as well. But it was great to be able to see everybody from every different branch, what was going on with them, and a lot of them did need a lot of support, because especially with like the Galleria branch, I met a lot of associates who, were going through it. Their clients have been going through it, and their families have been going through it. So it's one of those things that's really, really rewarding. And I know for me, for my first week, that was really incredible to see that sense of family, because everybody was willing to come up to me and have a conversation and give me advice and tell me about this, that, and the other with their stories, and that was great. It's great. It's a great family culture.
You guys think about the relationships with your own Keller-Williams associates from afar? Not in just even Austin, but down in Houston, that you would have a chance to meet and learn their story. Was that powerful, you guys?
Oh, most definitely. We actually met, Nolly from Austin. Everybody knows Nolly. He wears the cowboy
He had some
hat.
great videos that he did.
Yeah. Oh, did he? I
I
haven't seen those
look
yet.
at him on Facebook.
Yeah. So we got to meet Nolly, and and his wife was there with them, and we got to hear Nolly's story, and very empowering person, and very empowering story, because I did not know anything back behind Nolly's story. So he's an incredible asset for Keller-Williams. But yeah, we absolutely, I mean, at the end of the day, I will tell you, my 55-year-old body felt like a 100-year-old body. I did not know how bad a shape I was in until, I moved around for 10 straight hours. This one, she was rocking. She's young. She had a lot of energy to be able to bring to it. But I will tell you, at the end of the day, when I was creaking and sort of limping and everything, one of the other gentlemen looked at me with the yellow KW Cares t-shirts on, and he said, "You know what? You look like you need a break. So sit in this donated wheelchair. Here's 3 big boxes of mops that are in 2 pieces. And you can put the mops together, right?" And I'm like, I can put mops together like you would not believe, right? So I sat there and I got a good upper arm workout putting mops together. But it just takes every little bit to be able to go out there and help these people, because there were a lot of agents out there also that had been affected as well, that they realized there was nothing that they can do at that point in their home, so they realized they needed to come and help their fellow Keller-Williams agents. So it was very heartwarming, and sort of got the spring back in my step a little bit, so we enjoyed it. It was a privilege.
Thank you, thank you. And one thing I just think for you guys is, maybe I don't have the physical ability to go down to someone's house. Maybe I could work for a couple hours on a station of organization. We did have several agents that did go down, and some people's houses have been cleaned out. They're at a point to dry out. We know there are still more that haven't even gotten their subdivisions yet. So, Nolly, you brought him up. I was looking at some of the videos last night. He personally did a 2-day challenge and said, could you give 2 days of your life over the next few weeks that could benefit someone else's family. And you guys, I know we've been doing it in our own communities with our own neighbors. So many have talked to you, maybe even had damage yourself, and you've been at your neighbor's house instead. So I understand that we're going to do it at home also. But I would encourage you to give if you can down there. This is one of our agents who actually, I'm sorry, Helen, yes?
Yeah, and how long is this running? Is it
Until.
okay? So there's no, you can still
Yeah.
volunteer.
You know, we know right now that there's a need. Sure.
Okay,
And,
correct. I didn't know if they had.
well, in the next few days, it's still a big time to go clean out.
What about the agents in this office? Because I know Lori Parker and I also know Lori Kent's house went under.
Yes, yes.
What
Let me
about
talk
our own
about-
agents
Let me
here?
tell you this agent, no, I get that. So this is, one of our agents is named Belinda Cote, and many of you may not know her, she actually lives in Cypresswood, and she was completely devastated, evacuated out by boat. And it's been hard for her to communicate with me and with us as a staff because she had bad cell phone reception, and once you get in there in those neighborhoods, she wasn't able to get in, I think, until Saturday. Community Cares went to her home yesterday. You know, she's not done at all, but these are some pictures that she sent yesterday of the relief crew in one of our KW Conroe agents' houses. So that helped my heart, and also I'd like to be one of them in her house, honestly. And we'll see what she needs going forward, and she's still just barely begun to get in and get her stuff out. And that's someone that we can talk about. Now, I went personally to Laurie Kent's yesterday, and she's doing pretty well on the drying out of the bottom of her house. Her community and neighbors and a lot of us, I heard one of our agents gave her a car to drive. We've sent over some items for her, and she could still use some volunteers. If you guys can't go down, but you maybe want to help locally, get with me on her because she could use some she doesn't need the demolishing crew now, she'll need the rebuilding crew and the helping organization. She's trying to set up a little office in her home that she can work out of. And many of you may know that her husband passed away, only right before this. So she's hanging in there, and moral support to her, a word of encouragement to her. Lori Parker I also spoke to, she's in the drying out stage. So she will probably need help rebuilding, but you know how you get it to the point where you need a couple of days to dry it out. We're all starting to up here get in a little bit of that stage. And so, but I do have a list of agents and items needed. Let's go to this next slide, Earl. Hopefully you guys got the email where Gail Kane stepped up and said that, what about local, not just our own agents, but our clients and our clients' client families, and so many of the people, we've seen relief all over the community. But us as our office decided, let's make a list that you guys can embrace if you want to. This is on the KW intranet. We're going to be collecting items here in the office. There's a room right over here where people have started to bring supplies in. We need help organizing the supplies. Terry Poole, I'm not sure if you know Terry over here in the red, is a new agent. She got bags from Kroger so that we can start to put them in there. And what this is that we're going to collect them over the next few days. We can update things that are needed. We can use volunteers to help put them together, and then sending them where they may need to go, okay?
So are they two different things, I think, toiletries and cleaning?
And there's a list, and we may look and see what we have and update that list, and we will update that list. You guys can see just right across the training room. And again, we need volunteers on lots of levels, guys. So that's that, and please contact Gail to find out more. Okay, guys, let's talk about Bold. I've got Steve here, Develop Code, Steve Schleter, and I've heard Bold's back on this week.
Bold is on.
So let's let him speak to that.
How we doing, guys?
Hey.
You got the cash today. As soon as we're done here, we're heading over to the warehouse, heading out in the field, getting to work, and so then we'll get the sloppy clothes on, get the shorts and the dirty shoes, and get ready to go to work. I'll be here through Friday, and Bold is on, and all that we've got. It's going to be I sent a video out to you guys. You probably got it. It's going to be an unconventional Bold. We're going to focus on the market of the moment, the things that are really happening. I came in on the tail end of the gentleman from Costco. He sounded pretty amazing. I think you need, what'd you call that thing he has?
Shebang bang.
A shebang bang. I think you should get in your chitty bang bang and go over to the shebang bang 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 or whatever you call it. Sounds pretty cool. Because I think there's lessons in that. I think it's a complete opportunity right now. And it so happens step 4 of BOLD focuses on your Met database. And Met database, as he said, is all about what? Relationships. And we think about things like social media, and you've got people displaced, and you've got all these things going on. Social media is going to be a massive lifeline in our world to keep people connected. And so we're going to cover the BOLD agenda. And by the way, if you didn't get your 100 contacts, you can't come. No, no. We've had a lot of disruption, and I think the most important thing you can do is stay connected with the people in need, stay connected with your database. And you don't have to talk real estate. Not right now. You just got to be a resource for them. How do we take care of their needs? How do we alert them to the opportunities? We're going to talk about all that in BOLD, some strategies around that. That's going to be our focus. We will cover the listing presentation because are you still going to need some listings? Say yes. Yes. Yeah, I was talking to Cedric Gherkin, I can never pronounce his last name, he's French. Cedric, who's in the Katy office, he lives in the Memorial area, 12 of his 13 listings flooded. Yeah. So, this guy's in deep weeds, and he actually has moved his license to my Round Rock office, and Christy Farmer, his partner, is keeping her license here, and he's calling for sale by owners and expireds in Austin, Georgetown, and Round Rock, and listing property there 2 days a week, while still figuring out how to sort this out. Now that's doing something we call he's quick transitioning into the market at the moment, and those will be the things we get into this next week. Diana made a comment. Y'all remember the story of Rip Van Winkle? So if you remember that story, Rip Van Winkle went to sleep under the tree, and what did he do? Woke up 20 years later, long beard, tattered clothes, and the world was what? Was different. And yet, did he have to transition into that world? And Diana talked to us the other day, and she said, this is what we're going through is not about change, it's about transition. And one of the things she said is right now we're in survival mode, we're in high response mode, and that's where we should be. And yet there's probably going to come a little moment of confusion. There's going to come a time of distress, and then we work through that into transition. So I think BOLD's going to be a very important place. If you have people that say, I'm caught in a crisis or something, I can't be at BOLD, have them be at BOLD. And we're going to really focus on getting our mindset calibrated for what's in front of us so we can all transition powerfully as we work our way through this. So any questions or thoughts about BOLD? Yeah.
I just wanted to say one thing. I know both of our leaders standing in front of us were personally affected, correct?
Yep.
So, and I don't know that everybody in here knows that. So not only are you leading, but you're also dealing with a personal, your own personal homes.
Well, not my home. My home's not affected, but Anna's is. Yeah. So, and yet I will tell you that I'm living it through others, and we're taking care of the needs that are out there. We had crews from Round Rock and Georgetown. In fact, Round Rock and Georgetown is feeding everybody at the warehouse. We had Terry Romero from my Round Rock office bringing her A&M tailgating, trailer and all this, and they're cooking barbecue and doing that all day. Now here it's really good too. So, now you're out in the field, you get a sack lunch. Here's one thing I do want to tell you about the volunteer efforts. But when you come back, you get barbecue. So there's that. One thing I do want to tell you, I talked to Matthew Labito, our team leader in Round Rock. He's been out there since Friday. He went back today for the team meeting, and Round Rock's coming back this evening. We'll be out there through this next Friday. We have a bus leaving tomorrow from Round Rock, bringing the BOLD class. So whoever from the BOLD class today chooses to is going to be able to get on a bus tomorrow and head to the command center and get out in the field. And I'll tell you, the warehouse is kind of hot, right? Yeah. And little fans. If you show up 1 or 2 in the afternoon today, that's okay, because they probably won't send you out in the field. And yet those people have been in the warehouse since 8, 7, 9 o'clock, they're gonna be looking for some relief. And so even if you could just go work in the warehouse, what they really need is people that are willing to get dirty and get out in the field. If you show up 1 in the afternoon, they're probably not gonna send you out in the field, and yet I would encourage you is, get out there an early morning to the command center, be part of the work crew. And I'm gonna challenge us as bold, maybe some of your teams will decide on Friday, to get out there and just get out and make that a service day to come out from there and network and get, it's gonna be this opportunity to really connect with each other at a much deeper level than we ever did before. But that's enough about Bold, and just look forward to having you guys, and we'll be back at it Thursday. All right? Thank you, Anna.
So when I think about Bold, and man, maybe this isn't the right time, and I'm like, what's gonna happen, and what are my fears and concerns, and I think how fortunate that those of you in Bold are that you're gonna be able to have the mindset, have the direction as you move into this next quarter with a time where we're not sure what's gonna happen with our economy and what's gonna happen with our real estate. So, I kind of think in my mind about the limiting beliefs that I feel, and maybe you guys feel, about what's gonna happen to my business. How am I gonna make it? Maybe somebody that I don't even realize isn't telling me that they need something right now. Maybe you don't want to tell somebody that you need something right now. So let's come together as a family and please communicate with each other and be a little softer to the person next to you. And maybe you don't know what's going on in someone's life and your perception of them is different than their life really is and what they're going through. Gail, do you think what do you think about what you need?
We've got, everybody's business has moved, am I right?
Right.
What closings you had just got bumped. And we're bumping everything from 2 weeks all the way up to 45 days. So y'all keep that in mindset with this, but when it comes to our supplies, there's a lot of people that are not sharing what they need. So when we met in regards to this, our family, our KW Conroe, Huntsville, Magnolia, Walden, that's our family. Anybody that you know that it's your family, and then we're going out one step from there. So it's our grandchildren, it's our aunts, our uncles in this area, let's help. And then let's do our clients. Because as much as it's so important to go downtown, we do have a lot of need here, but we may not know that need. And we've got this office over here that is gathering these things. This is not gonna be just for a couple of weeks. We're gonna need this for a year. I personally was flooded in '94. So they don't even know what they don't know yet. And it's gonna take a very long transition for them. Emotions are going to be off the Richter scale. People are gonna be screaming at you that don't scream because they lost things that cannot be replaced. It's the picture of the grandbaby or something like that. So be sensitive, just listen, and bring what you can here. Let's continue with this carrying package over here, and it's not just for Friday. Let's continue to bring things over here, waters, underwear. You'd be surprised, when we lost everything with 6 feet of water, I didn't have a toothbrush. Things like that you take for granted, my hairbrush, all my makeup, which I didn't wear. Maybe I should have, that was a long time ago, but anyway, y'all keep that in mind for the future. And if you see, when you're going to buy your groceries or Costco, buy extra, bring it in here, because it won't go to waste. We've got too many people at hand, and who knows what Irma would do. Thank you.
Thank you.
So when we do the what happens next part of this and you start to think about your business and your clients and your contracts and your listings and what's happening next in that regard. Hopefully you guys saw we did a couple of recordings. We were fortunate enough to have the Texas Real Estate Commission. We did a recording on the contracts. And it's on our intranet, and we'll make sure that it's there, okay? So Earl, after the team meeting, will send both of these recordings out again, so that if you guys have the time, they're very informative on what the contract law is and what to do if you have a contract situation, both parties. Same thing with the leases. Like we talked about, there's people in leases that, what are their rights, what's gonna happen with them. So contractually, there's a contract class that'll go on, I believe it's this week if we look at the calendar. And I talked to Matt West yesterday, he said, please call him. He's there to answer the phone and talk to you with your concerns regarding anything to do with your pending contracts. Does anybody have any thoughts, ahas, questions about the business side of your lives? Are you guys?
I've seen some party people come up here, just got a contract from ones that were leasing, but the lease wasn't up to them, and they're buying. So I think you're gonna see this.
Make sure if you haven't been in business a long time that you have somebody, one of us, you can call and ask if you need some help navigating a lease application or any of that. We're always here to support you for that.
I would just like to say something. I've been talking to Airbnb, and just because people need short-term housing. And Airbnb has waived their fees for through the end of September, and they may be willing to extend that. I had Airbnb call me to try to match a local person with the right property. Concerned over whether or not some of the condos. Airbnb also has a lot of people who offer you rooms and even complete homes for as low as $0. Okay. Another option is if you haven't been as successful getting the other vacation rental properties to lower their prices enough, but you have to think about it. If you're in a 3-bedroom place, 2 families can share that. Mm-hmm. So think of that. I mean, don't think of it. Oh, that's too expensive for my customer, my client. Because you could get, if they could get 2 families in one place, then they can share that cost, even if the owners of those rentals aren't willing to come down their prices. So just a thought.
And the intranet that we have and the Facebook page that we have, what a wonderful place for us to be able to put if we know of somebody who has some housing available. I'm not talking about your listings, but we have agents coming in, relief crews. Instead of mega camp this year, we're gonna have mega relief. There'll be agents coming in from all over the country that maybe if you thought of someone that might have a housing for those agents coming in, just start to think about using our own communication tools to communicate with each other as well. And that you might have, you might hear of somebody that has a place available. We need to know that, right? Steve?
And one of the things I want to comment on is those recordings that you've got posted with Avis and the Trek attorney, and then with Bill Jones. Calling Matt is great and getting your individual help, and yet I'm going to ask you to listen to them, and here's why. Because both Bill and Avis and the Trek attorney get into, because what we're going to do is we're going to be managing your situation. One of the things they get into is be very careful what you do and don't do, say and don't say that can get you in legal hot water. Because we want to be extremely helpful for our clients, and we can overstep, if we're not careful, what our license really allows us to do. And you could get yourself in so much hot water long-term, meaning and intending to be helpful, and yet you created a situation for yourself. So I think as professionals, you have to stop and really educate yourself, because you've not dealt with casualty loss issues or this kind of situation with landlord-tenant type situations before. And I would really encourage you to take a little time, they're about 30 minutes each, and really educate yourself so that you don't get yourself in a pickle. Okay?
What I'm wondering is that, say for instance, I have investor clients, and they may have 1 or 2 properties that are empty right now, and they'd like to offer them at a discounted price, but only to somebody that's been affected by Harvey, not just somebody that wants a great price on a condo and wants to grab
These
it.
are wonderful posts for the intranet. and for us to come together as a group of
But
putting
what-
plans together.
But what I'm trying to find out is, in trying to be helpful, am I
What
getting my
advice?
clients in trouble by saying this special price is only available to Harvey affected people?
I
Can you do
understand.
that?
Right. And did you listen to this recording
No, I
yet?
am not.
I'd
So-
say start with that,
Okay,
and then let's talk again.
okay.
Can you elaborate a little bit on Mega Relief, what the change is from Mega Camp to regular, what's the difference, what's the structure?
I think it's still in process. I'm not sure that we actually know. Steve is waving his hand over there.
I can fill you in a little bit, and it's very fluid. Who in here was registered for Mega Camp? Okay. Now, the email that went out, you saw that it had a button on there that said, "I'm coming to Austin," right? Y'all remember that? It didn't give you an opt-out button, did it? And the reason that is, and this is my interpretation of it, understanding what I know and what I've heard, is that they didn't create the opt-out button yet because they wanted the enthusiasm for people coming to Austin from other parts of the country to build, get the social media going, let them see what's happening, so people would have this pull and desire to come and be a part of Mega Relief. There will be an opt-out opportunity, is my understanding, that you'll probably be receiving in the next day or two. And it's senseless for y'all to go to Austin to be driven back to Houston or Victoria or Port Lavaca or someplace like that. And so I would say when the opt-out opportunity comes in, just opt out and then go be a part of it by going to Command Center, and we'll have more information for you. So I'm going to visit with Wendy Harrelson today on specifically for folks in Houston, because I've had a couple of bowl coaches who live here ask me about, because they're cutting costs. It's like, do I need a $1,000 hotel bill just to be shipped back to Houston? And that really doesn't make a lot of sense. So when the opt-out opportunity comes, it will just opt out. Okay.
Thank you, Steve. Let's move to haves and wants. Allison?
Today, Brittany and I are gonna find out whether or not one of our deals is gonna blow out today. So just in case it does sink, and it's because of a buyer timing issue with the financing issue and having to have the reappraisal inspection done, just in case, my listing over at 806 H is in Happy, that's the unit over at 12900 Walden, which is the 18th at Walden. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, 866 square feet. I think it's listed at $89,900. And so we've been trying to work with this buyer because she's elderly and she's coming from Florida. And it just looks like the financing is not gonna work out because her financing person isn't moving fast enough for her getting a new job here and everything. So if it does hit the market, it'll probably be hitting the market later this afternoon. It was one of my investors' redos and it is striking. I don't know if y'all saw it. The staging has been moved out because we thought we had it sold, but it overlooks the pool and the golf course there, and it is a gorgeous property. They really put in all the bells and whistles, brand new stainless steel. It does not come with a washer and dryer though. It has washer and dryer hookups on the main floor of the condo. It's on the second and third levels. But otherwise, it's a beautiful piece of property. Would love to have y'all take a look at it if it re-hits the market.
Okay, thank you. Gail?
I have a 3 acres, completely unrestricted over off of 1314, one block off of 1314 with, the country block. It's got 2 houses on it. So if you're looking for that multi-generation that they need those 2 houses, it's perfect. It's a older house, 1952, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. The cottage is a wow factor because it's all custom wood inside. 240, it's got a pond. 1.5 acres is fenced. So this, if you know where Thunder Range is, it's right in that vicinity. So 14470 Allendale. 240, the property in East County is blowing up. I don't get it personally, but it is what it is. It is, the prices over there are crazy. I will have another property that's gonna be coming up over in Porter. It also is 3 acres with a house, and it's fully unrestricted, so if y'all know anyone looking for, to develop a mobile home park, this property will be a perfect opportunity because it's got city water, city sewer. There you go.
Thank you. Brian?
Probably not the best person to ask for this, but I was told this is what I'm gonna ask for. Cosmetics. Yeah, I'm a fervent and frequent user, so. But right now, and it was Kate Bim that did this, a local attorney, and she said, talk about the face, you know, you put on your face, girls, I have no idea what I'm talking about, by the way. But it's, the idea is they put on makeup, whoever those people are, the women people. If you have lotions, any kind of cosmetics that you need to get rid of, stuff that's been sitting in the drawer for a long time, please bring it in here and we'll distribute it.
And it should be new, it should be brand new.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
What's that?
That's gross, Brian.
Thank you. I'm glad that I was
There's a
able
lot
to.
of contamination and stuff.
Ooh, bless you.
You're gonna buy something.
I'm sure all kinds of toiletries.
Yeah, whatever he said.
Toiletries, makeup, shampoos. Again, we'll update that list for ideas. Gail?
I also have a rental coming up on the market, if, it's over off of Boudreaux and Tomball area. It is a 5-bedroom for 2,400. Did not get flooded, the entire subdivision is like on this hill, and every property in there looks over at the Conroe-Lake. So that's gonna be hitting the market this week. If y'all got anyone looking, it's not gonna be a temporary, it's gonna be a full lease.
Wonderful.
I've got an off the market waterfront, 2 acres, about a little under or right at 8,000 square feet. I have pictures and I can do showings if anybody wants to.
How much is it?
It's gonna be 1.7.
Where is it?
It's in Harborside.
Okay.
So across from it, it's deep there, and across from it's always gonna be naturally wooded. So.
Okay.
It won't be in the computer?
What, ma'am?
Is it not in the computer?
No, it's not. But I have pictures if you want to send to your clients or anything like that. But they're ready to sell, but not ready to list until probably this spring because they travel a lot. So.
And you know, sometimes the luxury clients will be on a little bit of the discreet side, so.
Yeah. So just let me know if anyone needs.
Hi, Joy.
Teresa?
Yeah, I have a new listing in Blue Heron, just listed it, it's $599. It's beautiful, it's, has a pool, remodeling, it's just high-end appliances, beautiful wood floors, 3-bedroom study, a couple extra bedrooms, anyway, $599, keep that in mind. Listed one in Walden, just put it on the market, I think, yesterday, and it has a guest quarters with it. It's an older home, it's been remodeled, and it's $249, and it has a 111 guest time. So total 4-bedroom study, 3-car garage.
But there's some people that are gonna
What's the
enjoy some
address?
guest homes right now.
Yeah. It's by,
What's the address?
it's 12103 Hawthorne. I was a listing agent, I'm 14 years ago and bought it.
Good job. Should we
It's always
put
been nice to
on
everybody.
our listings, in public remarks or agent remarks or whatever, should we put not affected by Harvey or something to that effect?
Absolutely.
You guys will see, if you'll listen to that recording, they discuss some of that and what about to do about your seller's disclosures. So please listen in on those recordings so that you can get some of those questions answered. And then we'll talk about it again next team meeting. We're gonna be talking about this for some time, okay?
And then your seller's disclosures are out first.
So we'll send out something about the seller's disclosures. Allison's just saying that the new one's out, so that'll be a perfect time to update them, it sounds like.
I have a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath with an extra room on a corner lot right downtown Conroe. It's not on the market. If anybody needs it, I'm holding off for your clients for a year. They would like, a regular lease.
Please post that on the internet so
1200.
that we start to put these things together, guys. If you can think of something that you know about, let's use that as a place to put it.
And I think HARD is coming up with some special database or some special designation on HAR for the Harvey affected or Harvey available leases that can be short-term. I signed up to be notified the moment they start that database, that there's some type of HAR database for short-term rentals.
Wonderful.
So that's coming.
Please post that to us whenever you find out or get that to one of us. Any other haves and wants, fears, concerns, things you guys need that you can think of? I know we're just getting started, and you will be out there for each other. I do want to go ahead and have virtual tour today because I feel like we promised it to the clients, and you guys are going to need more than ever now to know about inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and move to virtual tour, and